Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've debated making this video about for a really long time because I don't think I've ever discussed any of the places that I've worked before on camera, but Books A Million is one that I feel like so many people want to know what it's like working at an actual bookstore. And I've had that experience because I got to work for them for about a year and a half, which I gotta say was a pretty great year and a half. And I know a lot of you are wondering what it's like to work at a bookstore, because I did before I worked there. Of course, everyone's experiences are going to differ, but I do have to say my experiences were great. So first things first, my interview was really different than any interview I've ever had before. I went into a really small back office and the manager was there and he said, okay, this interview is not going to be like any interview you've ever had. Not sure what to expect there. But it ended up being a really cool way to get to know the people I was going to work with before even getting hired, and just to make sure that it was a good fit. So instead of asking a lot of random questions that don't pertain to the job that most interviews consist of, I've been asked some really crazy stuff at interviews before that I don't know how it could ever possibly relate to the job. It's just nonsense, a lot of it. But they asked me stuff, he asked me stuff like, what's your favorite book? Who's your favorite author? Why are you interested in working here? Like, that's an actually really relevant question. And then at that point, when I started going on about how much I just love literature and books and things, I could tell I was on the right track there. I mean, obviously, it's a bookstore job, but it's true to the things that I said. And started talking about my favorite author, how, like, the books and stuff. And again, it was an interview, so I was still a tiny bit nervous. Then we got to the part where they talk about the discount card, which is a huge part of bookstores nowadays, and that's because of it's a really fantastic way for them to generate revenue, as well as create this community around the bookstore and this customer base, which the discount cards, hate them or love them, they are a really important part of the bookstore ecosystem. So I said, do you think you can sell these? Because it's a big part of the job is to get return customers and to get people interested and to also get people fantastic discounts if they're going to be shopping here. You know, they're shopping here already, a lot of them, over and over, repeat customers. It's important that we make sure they know what their options are as far as this discount card. So I said, yeah, I can try. I'll do my absolute best to sell that. At which point, he said, do or do not, there is no try. And he straight up quoted Yoda. And it was then that I knew I had to work there, you know. So a few days passed and I got the call that they did want to hire me. The hiring process was pretty lengthy. You had a lot of online programs you had to complete, in-store like classes to get certified in different things and to kind of get to know what the process of selling a book is. And so I feel like that was actually beneficial. A lot of places that we do trainings and things that I've worked in the past, you do these trainings that last like 2 or 3 weeks and they are just grueling. Well, these trainings were actually pretty relevant and pertinent to the job, so it made sense. Discount card was a huge part of working there, but I found that it really did bring people back who liked the store and who wanted to save money, and a lot of them did save a lot of money. So I was a member before I even got the job, so I had my discount card before I got the job, and it was a really exciting point in time for me because I loved the fact that we had a Books A Million. I love the fact that I had the option of buying books and getting discounts, and you do get a ton of discounts when you sign up and on holidays and on special events, and it's not a bad deal. But discount card aside, other things about working there was each of us sort of had our own section of the store. So I was like the young adult expert, if you will. And so every time someone would come in and they would be like asking about a young adult book, they'd be like, ask James. He knows about young adult. And then we had someone who worked there who was really an expert at like comics and graphic novels and manga. And then we had the person who's like the fiction and the romance and that type of stuff. And so it was like everybody had their own section of expertise, and somehow it just worked out perfectly because from the time you start working there, you kind of become an expert in all of the areas of the store, really. I could tell you things about authors that I've never read and probably never will read, but because I learned how to be there for the customer. So you kind of become an expert in all of the stuff that's going on in the store. But it was really nice to know that if I didn't know something about a science fiction author, I could say, you know, ask them. They're an expert in this, and then they would know. And so it was just really cool that we all sort of had a place where we were an expert in the store. And I don't think that they purposely hired us based on that, but I think that it just worked out that way. And it was fantastic that it worked out that way because our store's numbers were brilliant. Only downside was I spent a lot of my paycheck there because of the employee discount. So I ended up buying a ton of books, and that was because I was there when the books would arrive and the new releases would arrive, and I'd be like, oh, I've got to have that, and there's a sale on this, and so I'd be crazy not to get that. And, you know, if I read that, I could probably help the customers out a bit better if they had questions about it. And so I was spending a lot of my paycheck on the books, and that's the only downside because you're around books, and if you love books, it's like an addict being around what they're addicted to. It just, that's how it was for me. And so that's the only downside, and I don't even really consider that a downside because I got a lot of books and I love books. If you have any questions about anything else, like what it was like to work there, because I could probably go on and on for hours about the different things, the different experiences I've had, the different events that we held, and the different customers I've met and things like that. But it was a really fantastic place to work. If you're considering it, I highly recommend it. You can leave me your comments in the comments section down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.